So, Matt, the first question I've got for you, before you engaged in the pathway and you kind of met Stevie Kidd for the first time, would you like to tell us kind of what was going on in your life and business at that point, just so we get a better understanding of what your starting point looked like?
We've scaled the company up over the last 3 years and created a lot of growth very quickly. So as the leader and owner of the company, I felt that I needed more support. I needed to look at how I was going to take this on myself after a few failed employment positions, an operations director, a managing director, and it didn't quite hit the mark in terms of what we needed. So I looked at myself and said, look, I'm going to need to step up, self-investment required to do that, understand leadership, understand business, understand strategy, understand process a lot more than I did. This is all self-developed. It's something that I had no experience with. I've never scaled a multi-million pound company. January, February time, which is probably historically some of the toughest months for humans anyway, given the lack of, in the UK, given the lack of daylight working hours, I wasn't in a great place, and it was a testing period. So I started looking at different books and doing some research into people, and stumbled across Stevie on LinkedIn. He had a few connections, people that I knew, and I noticed that he had a book, The 1% Mindset, and Stevie's book was phenomenal. It's not like any book I've ever read. It takes you on a journey about self-exploration, who you are as a person, what you need to do to try and overcome that. And when I first read the book, even though it made sense, it didn't make sense. There was a lot of things that I thought I knew at that point in time, and then as you go through the book, it gets you to question things. And there's a statement in there that you read this book, I think it might have even been on Amazon, if you read this book, it won't be the same the second time around. And that's absolutely true. Because I think you start to really understand the world and that Stevie operates in, and things start to sort of join up. Went for a really, really excellent onboarding process. There was a lot of questions, a lot of hurdles to jump over to ensure that you were right for them. It's not just about you and what you want. And then when I met Stevie, it was the call was brilliant. It was instant connection is probably the thing that I would say about Stevie. Someone who understood where I was, understood the pain I was going through as a business owner, and the development phase that we were in, and that sort of growth period that we were about to encounter.
What did you experience after your very, very first session with Stevie? So, what was your kind of immediate reaction?
He's got a crazy laugh, which instantly breaks down the barriers. The thing for me is the questions. The powerful questions, the silence, getting you to really understand the question that's being asked. Leaving the call thinking, right, what did that mean? And so you whenever I speak to Stevie, I always leave the call with questions in my mind that I need to go and find the answers. There's no answers given to you. They're strategically placed to you for you to go away and think. And that's the difference. So you can be coached by individuals who tell you what you need to do, and I need you to do this and I need you to do that, but you're not actually learning anything. That actually you need to go away and really understand what it is that you're going through in your mind. Yeah, I mean, what are we, 5 months in now? And it's been unbelievable in terms of transition. Me as an individual, I feel like I've probably gained 12, 18 months experience in just that short period of time in terms of growth, understanding who I am, where I want to be. It's definitely, it's not just about running a business, it's about your mental strength, it's about what you experience every day in your mind. And I think Stevie completely understands that. All these things, before I was the talker, historically I'd be in a meeting, we need to do this, we need to do that. Now I sit and ask the question and sit back. It's like taking the pin out of a grenade and rolling it into the meeting and just watching your staff and their expressions and like, all right, okay.
Obviously, it's been a roller coaster of a journey so far, and there's been a lot of decluttering and filtering for you and the business. you know, have you started to become really aware of what's going on within yourself now as well?
Yes, definitely. The change in myself is that I'm now really starting to understand the who are you question. But now it's daily. It's I need to change daily. This is about the consistency. It's about that relentless want to change. The 18-hour day up in Scotland was phenomenal. I got back to the hotel room, I think it was about midnight, and was just completely numb, but full of positivity. A really strange sensation. Woke up the next day, slept right through. It was just felt like I'd shed another skin. It's probably the best analogy I can put against it. It was like, wow, like this is like every time I'm getting involved in this, there's something else. There's another percentage of gain and taking another step forward. It's that consistency that's going to allow you to grow and evolve.
So how has the change been emotionally and mentally for you now that you can see a clear path ahead of you?
So we had a coaching call, and Stevie was like, anything you want to talk to me about, anything that's keeping you awake at night at the moment. And it was finance. You know, the growth, the curve is like this, literally. The clients we were signing up to was so great. The demand become greater, and then obviously the expectations greater. Therefore, there's more staff required, there's more investment required. The profit and loss, the forecasting, all these things start to become a real big focus within the company. So we work with a great guy called Craig, who came in as a CFO support, and went to work over a 6-week period and looked at all the key areas, the forecasting, the budgeting, and all of that's happened within a 6 to 8 week period since that introduction. These tools and systems that have been implemented just completely remove another fear of another anxiety that were added to my build up in my mind. So each little bit that's taken away allows me to now start to focus on peak performance, taking this business to the next level, visualizing what does this company look like, what are the key target areas we need to be looking at next. So those lanes are an excellent way of getting that visualization and understanding how each department's functioning, and allowing me to come out of the minutiae, being in the granular every day, working in and amongst the weeds, whatever you want to call it. As a business owner, you don't want to be down there, because if you're down there, you can't see what's going on up here.
So is it fair to say that you've kind of been paying more attention to the present, and you can see further than what you've seen before?
Probably the easiest way to answer this is my family. So let's look at the immediate surrounding, the circle, if you like. They have all changed. My wife's going to the gym. My wife's looking at herself now. Wants to understand where she's going in life. My daughter's just done amazingly well in her exams, well above and beyond, and I supported her through that. So in terms of that purpose, my purpose to be a greater father, a greater leader, is definitely coming through. Scaling INS, supporting the team, supporting the immediate people around me to help them change their lives for the better.
Are you finding that people are commenting, seeing and hearing the change within you?
Just last week we had a conversation about, the business and the evolution of the company, and how people are changing. And I remember saying to one of my staff members, what did Matt Wilkie look like 3 years ago to the Matt Wilkie that's here today? And he said there's no comparison. Huge shift in the way that you conduct yourself, in the way that you're leading the team, you're leading the people. My home life has changed considerably. We go out on long family walks now. We would have never have done anything like that. But it's that being in touch with nature message that Stevie promotes relentlessly. I think that's something that we've really taken from that as a family, is getting out and about, trying to do more things around activity and enjoying life and being in the present. What
is the pathway all about for you?
I know that there's something more inside that I've not found yet. So for me, I want to push myself so far out my comfort zone. I want to understand, more about myself. And on the outside, you can try and, put on a brave face, but it's still what's going on in your mind that's the biggest challenge. So yeah, Reach Your Peak for me is about about myself, but it's also about raising awareness of the mental challenges that people face, because I think that's going to be the underlying sort of reason for me. Is I'm doing this to find out more about me and how I can improve myself, how I can become a stronger, better version of myself, a better version of Matt Wilkie, and how I can really change and evolve and impact other people's lives by being a more positive visionary for the people around me. So I picked Ripple, which is a local Portsmouth charity. And Alice Hendy is the owner of that, who sadly lost her brother Josh to suicide, and it just resonated with me. I'd been in that place, but thankfully my little boy came up that morning, and said goodbye to me, and he had never done that. That morning he came up to say goodbye to me, give me a kiss, and thankfully he did. It's something that's very, very close to my heart. And it will mean, when I'm up there and I'm hitting those barriers, I'm going to remember all the people that have donated, think about Josh and where he was, and also the experiences that I've been through, grow into someone that can help people in those dark periods of their life, like Stevie's doing, and find those magical tactics and strategies to help people change, and let them realise that actually there is a way to change.
What would your message to be to somebody who is potentially looking to align themselves to the pathway in Stevie Kidd?
Without doubt, if you want to change yourself, if you want to understand yourself, to really find the best version of yourself, and do it without hesitation. You do pay money to people that coach you, but it's how you look at that. Do you look at it as, I'm paying someone to help me, or do you look at it as an investment in you and where you want to go in your life journey? What price are you willing to put on that?